The Avalaunch transmission starts now.
Okay, we are on. Couple minutes late, but a few minutes never hurt anyone. I'm confident that the value of this conversation will make up for any delay here. Good to see you, Ersten. It's been
Likewise.
a little while since we had the opportunity to have you on the channel,
Yeah.
and really, really excited to get into some very interesting and exciting events happening in the Heroes Chain world.
Yeah.
You guys have come a long way since the IDO,
Mm-hmm.
which was back
Yeah.
in January of
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about it a little bit this morning, and knowing that we were going to be talking and thinking back to that IDO in January and what the game ecosystem looked like at that point.
Yeah.
Um, it was very different, and
Yeah.
we've come a long way. And I say this often, so I probably won't be able to say it for much longer. But GameFi and the excitement around it is not that old. It feels
Mm-hmm.
very normal and common now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively new. And when you guys conceived of and pitched us on Heroes Chain, it was even well before that. And so, in some
Yeah.
ways, you guys were kind of early to the GameFi wave, but
Mm-hmm.
particularly the GameFi ecosystem on Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I would imagine that between then and now, because everything has kind of moved so quickly and everything's changed so much, you've learned a lot. And I want to cover some of that stuff today because I think those
Mm-hmm.
are valuable, important lessons, and is also going to give us a lot of insight into the game. And so um, the primary reason that we decided to get on here and talk today is because you guys just launched the closed beta, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to talk about that, and that's very cool. And we're going to get into kind of a host of other things. But just to kind of go off my original point there, the IDO was 7 months ago, so long time.
Yeah.
And you guys have been working hard, really doing a really good job at
Thank
keeping
you.
the community engaged and being a presence without
Mm-hmm.
the beta being out, which is a real challenge. And so, I'm just kind of curious, I guess. Tell us about the last 7 months. Like, what's it been like for you and the team, and what have been some of the challenges and successes, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been like a roller coaster, man. I'm coming from the Web 2 world, and one of the things I was gonna say about Web 3 is it's like a roller coaster. It's much faster here.
Yeah.
So we've been working on this project for over a year. Like we came up with this idea, then we decided to go for play and earn concept. We wrote about it, an article about it as an alternative to play to earn. It's like game first for GameFi. So we get it together with top game development team, and we selected our main net like Avalaunch, and we talked to you guys as Launchpad. So that was before the 7 months. It was like a little more than a year.
Yeah.
So we finally launched on January the 17th. As you know, we broke all-time records like 128 million dollars worth Sawa staked for our
I
token.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, why for a
It
one
was
million
something.
dollars raising? That was like $128 million. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we were also rated by independent ratings like crypto ratings as the most anticipated launch in January, and so that anticipation turned out to be correct. So also we also launched a little like 400K on CDFI as well, and we broke records, all-time records, still not broken on CDFI as well. So that was a good launch. And thanks to our community, we are like 63,000 people on Twitter, very active, like 30,000 on Discord, similar on Telegram, very active. it's the biggest community on Avalanche Gaming at the moment. And with their help, we were able to list on Huobi Global in 1 month. Like it was like February, mid February, then
Uh
Gate,
huh.
Whitebeat, and everything. But then we stopped listings due to the Luna crash, to what
Right.
happened in ends of Q2, second half of Q2 was really not so good. So we did our NFT sales in April, and then later, sometime in May, I believe, in two batches, both sold out in really tough seasons. So we did sold have a good, great NFT sales,
Mm-hmm.
and the community was so interactive. They demanded a mini game. The mini game was not on the roadmap. Remember, we were like
I
play
remember.
and earn game first and everything. But the community demanded with good arguments. They said, we can't wait for the full game. We love the Mayan Hara heroes we have. So, yeah, they convinced us. So, we developed the mini game on top of the roadmap. So, they loved it. Now they want the clan versus clan version because, like
They want it all.
YGGC, Avogado Guild, Good Games Guild, these are top guilds, play to earn guilds that are our backers. But we also have classical RPG guilds that formed in the 7 months in our ecosystem. And those classical RPG guilds, especially, asked us the clan versus clan version of the minigame, and we're releasing that as well. So then we were planning to have the closed beta end of June, but you know what happened in June? The Luna crash accelerated everything all the way. 3 Arrows Capital Circle are some milestones. So the community also demanded to postpone, and we were thinking likewise. We also consulted our backers and everything, so
Yeah.
we wanted to wait for things to settle down. So finally, we had our launch about a month later than planned, which was 5th of August. It was a 3-day closed beta test, and yeah, I played myself, and we, the developers and the gamers, we played together. We were talking to each other on Telegram. It was like dream, Mark. I mean, it was so immersive, so beautiful. We had a lot of fun and received a lot of feedback. So that's a summary of 7 months. So today we have a very vibrant community. Our token, made a sort of net like some like 670% rise in this bull market with this beta release. So that also shows that the community liked the beta test. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a summary
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of what
Mm-hmm.
happened so far.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been wild, and you guys have seen a couple. You guys have rode the wave of a couple of things. One, like the rise of sort of gaming in general. Two,
Hmm.
the explosion of Avalanche.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
We were
three.
in the beginning. We were there in
Yeah,
the beginning. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then three, kind of a full cycle, bull and bear. These are the
Yeah.
these are the kind of things that really harden a project in a good way.
Hmm.
These are all character building exercises that really contribute, I think, to the long term resiliency of a project.
Hmm.
It takes real character to do this stuff. And it's not to
Hmm.
over dramatize it, but it is a lot of work. It's hard work
Yeah.
and stressful work. And so
Hmm.
you guys have navigated a lot of choppy waters, and credit to you for that.
Thank you.
But seeing as how Web3 gaming has, even in the last several months, like changed so much, and now there's a
Hmm.
lot more people thinking about it and talking about it, and experimenting and trying new things. I have to believe that when you first conceived of Heroes Chain and the underlying economics of the token and the in-game
Hmm.
economy, um, it looked slightly different
Yeah.
than it
Yeah.
ended up looking today because you have more data, you have more experience,
Hmm.
um, and I'm wondering, like, does anything stand out that you guys ended up doing differently, having the benefit of time, right? Whether from a
Yeah.
development perspective or an economy perspective, what did you
Hmm.
guys learn, and how did it make y'all
Yeah.
better?
So one of the things that we understand in Web3 gaming, it's this gradual development. It's like evolutionary process where the gamers also take part, you know. That's the beauty. That's the core difference in Web3 gaming to Web2 gaming, and we love it. So we also had this strategy in the beginning. So instead of we're a huge RPG game project. It's a very ambitious long-term project. But instead of the Web2 big RPG games where you wait for years to develop, you know, even the alpha phase, the phase are like 6 months to about a year to the release, we instead had this rapid, extreme development strategy, which we also borrowed from the Web2 world. It's not unique to us,
Yeah.
but we start with the core fundamentals of the game, and we have, instead of alpha and beta tests, we have one test period combining the two. And then from the sort of a minimum, not the basic release, we have frequent expansion packs where we expand not only the content but also the genre, the gameplay genre. That's pretty unique. It's like an open genre or dynamic genre approach that's pretty unique.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? We started with, you know, RPG, crafting, explore and battle, do dungeons, and auto battler and real time card play. So we have cards like spell cards, skill cards, and everything. So it's a combination of various genres. And the gamers, very good gamers, professionals gamers that played the closed beta, I take them as experts outside our team. They say that this is something unique. This genre is something unique. It's a combination of many things. It has some familiarity, but it's very unique. But it's gonna expand towards card play. It's gonna expand towards battles, towards exploration, strategy. You build your guild and everything in all aspects. So it's a very sophisticated, dynamic genre thing. But yeah, I liked this evolutionary thing, which brings us changes naturally. So
Hmm.
we started believing that some things might change. Imagine the minigame. It was not planned, but
Right.
we decided together. So, but the idea of evolutionary development and a unique genre that's a tall order, didn't change. It was there at the beginning. And we also remember the tokenomics. We have this single token, unlike the double token thing, you
Right.
know. Uh, we believed in sort of Web 2.5, not Web 3, not Web 2. Remember, we always say we want to make use of the best practices of Web 2 gaming. We're not here to disrupt Web 2 gaming. We're not degens. Yeah, we're going to do it our own way. No, we respect Web 2 gaming, which is huge, right? It's bigger than movies and music combined. So we respect that. So we want to make use of the best practices. So when it comes to in-game currency, we use the gold mechanics of successful games. Very simple, but you need to use the only option is hack token. You can buy our gold, which is in game, which is very fast transacting and everything,
Hmm.
together with the subnet technology. But you use only one token, which is hack. Hack is fixed cap. It's just 100 million tokens out there. So you can easily correlate hack tokens value to the size of the Heroes Chain economy. So you want it to be that way. Not all these sophisticated mechanisms like double currencies and everything, as we have seen lastly in Luna Crash, can easily get out of the way. And when the
Right.
hype is gone, the acceleration downwards is so fast that you can't control it. So we
Hmm.
wanted to have this simple sound mechanism, also borrowing a lot from Web 2. So this didn't change.
Hmm.
Only in time we were proven to be right. So when we were
Yeah.
telling about all these things, like 1 year ago, people found it hard to understand what we're talking about. But today, people are coming around. They're coming around to using the best practices of Web 2 gaming. coming around to understand what we were talking about, why we had a single simple token, and
Hmm.
also making use of the get Web 2 gaming experience.
Hmm.
So these are the things that didn't change, but we turned out to be right. But on the
Yeah.
other hand, in the way we develop the speed and adding some genre things, the order of adding genre things change due to the feedback from the people.
Yeah. Well, looking at like the beta launch itself, so it's a closed beta, and I want to talk about um, exactly what that is, like why approach it in this way, who is like eligible, and like help us understand the context of it. Like why is a closed beta important in the grand scheme of things, and how much of the final game does this like represent?
Cool, that's a good question. First, remember I told you about this evolutionary development of a big RPG game.
Hmm.
This rapid and extreme development, method we use, methodology we used. So we remember we have normally alpha phase, alpha test, and then beta test, and then release. And alpha has closed alpha, open alpha, closed beta, open beta, and then release. That's the most sophisticated path. But we combined alpha and beta into one. So technically speaking, this closed beta corresponds to the first closed test. So most professional colleagues would call it closed alpha. But we should have called it closed alpha beta, but instead we call it closed beta because it's the one before release. So we need to use new terminology with our own meaning. Since we're unique, we're doing something for the first time. That's what you need in terms of terminology. So this is closed beta. And why it's closed? Because it's the first test. And the holders of Mainhara, free Mainharas that are not locked in the minigame or stake, for short. So free or long stake Mainhara holders had the ticket to play the closed beta, and we had some raffle and AMAs and everything. So some of the people also won the ticket to play the closed beta. So a couple of thousand. We'll check the numbers. People concurrently played closed beta, and it gave us a lot of insights, feedback about balancing the game, some new ideas, and also bug reports, of course, very important. So we're happy with the data we collected, and we now started working on it.
Hmm.
So we're gonna have open beta soon. I can't tell the time, but hopefully we're gonna release in Q4 the full release.
Awesome, awesome. And as we're talking, and like in a lot of your materials, and even since like the beginning, you guys draw this like really clear distinction between uh, play and earn and play to earn, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so I think it's worth kind of repeating and drilling down on, like, you know, in your mind, what are the differences between those two things, and why is
Hmm.
embracing that play and earn philosophy so important to Heroes Chain?
Thank you for asking this question. This is very important for me. I have written about that and I have talked about that in some emails, but I'm going to write a serious article on that. So, Mark, our team has scientists, like prominent scientists and legendary developers. So we take these things seriously. Even though it's a game, it's a Web3 game, we take it very seriously and we read scientific material.
Yeah.
And some of the scientific materials I read are go back to Professor Lecce and Professor Deci and Professor Lepper's two independent experiments back in 1970s. So back at that time, the behavioral science believes in that reward helps learning. So that was the mainstream theory. But these two experiments, independent experiments, prove that if you reward any person, kid, young, adult, to do a task, even if that task is fun in the beginning, it becomes a duty and the fun is removed forever. For example, They take kids to a room, two group of kids to two different rooms. They give them toys and paper and crayons. First group, they say just you can do whatever you like. Some of the kids
Uh-huh.
draw pictures with crayons and everything. To the second group, they say, look, if you draw pictures with these crayons, we're going to give you, let's say, marshmallows, okay, in return for a reward. Then they watch, and the kids that are rewarded draw a little more, a little higher percentage. So, reward helps there. But like 2 weeks later, they get together both group students, the rewarded ones, non-rewarded ones, and put them in the same room, some toys and crayons on paper again. So guess what happens? The kids from the first group keep drawing crayons for fun, but
Mhm.
the kids on the second group don't do that because this time no reward is promised. So it's kind of like if you don't pay me, I don't do it thing.
Right. Right.
This experiment shook the psychology. It has been repeated with Legos, university students all over the world in different schemes, but the result is the same. If you make somebody do something to earn something in return for a reward for money, even if it's like crayons drawing for the kids that they love or Legos, they stop having fun doing it. So that's why we were very much amazed by this finding. And we said, we can't do play to earn. It's doomed. So look what happened to Axie Infinity and Crowbar. I love Crowbar guys. They're great guys. But the play to earn, that psychological thing, really takes the fun part away, even though the games are fun at the beginning. So we're very focusing on play just for the sake of play, have fun. In the meantime, with the blockchain technology, censorship resistant, peer to peer legal ownership, and trade freedom, you can gonna be crafting things, you're gonna have things. You can trade them like you traded in World of Warcraft world, but you could be censored by Blizzard and everything. This time,
Mhm.
it's separation of powers. The game studio can't do anything because the contracts are on mainnet, which is an independent entity. The game studio can't stop the contracts regarding the NFT trade and token trade. So that's the beauty. That's the essence between. That's the difference between play and play to earn in a nutshell.
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, and I love how that's just always been like this consistent through line. Like since our first conversations about sort of that belief, that philosophy, why that's important, and I'm a strong believer that a conviction in something, and I'm
Yeah.
open to what that can be is important. There's kind of not enough of it out there, but um, you guys are a very accomplished team.
Thank you.
Everyone on the team has had like a pretty prolific career, and I mean, this is the
Mhm.
artists, the storytellers, the producers. Mev,
Yeah. Yeah.
the development. All having worked and seen great success in more traditional mediums, now working on a
Hmm.
Web3 game.
Hmm.
And we're seeing this more and more, right? Just in general, as
Yeah.
people wake
Yeah.
up to the potential and um, traditional developers and producers now aiming
Hmm.
over here. But I'm
Yeah.
wondering if the team, the people, kind of have struggled at all with transitioning over into Web3, or is it just kind of business as usual?
Hmm.
And you might as well not know the difference, or has there been um, either friction or opportunity? I'm always curious how these people, these creatives who are so used to working in one medium, their
Hmm.
impressions and path and journey through crypto, what that looks like.
Hmm. So, as I said, we're actually Web2 people. We're co-founders of top software companies as
Yeah.
well. Mev has developed globally award-winning games for Activision, Ubisoft, Honor, and everybody. So we're coming from the Web2 world. So we're not degens, and we're professional. We believe in the Web3
No, you are not.
philosophy. So, but we want to use Web3 only where it has a functionality, better functionality, nowhere else. So we're gonna we said we're gonna keep using the best practices of Web 2. We're gonna do what we've been doing so far, but we're gonna add Web 3 on this separation of powers thing, on this
Hmm.
censorship resistance peer-to-peer thing, nothing else. So so a great deal we're doing what we've been used to doing. So it didn't change a lot, but of course it's a new space. The people are a little different. It's faster here, fundraising and so launching, the community management. These are sort of unique in a sense. There's significant differences that we got used to along the way. Not huge differences, but it had some friction. We need to
Yeah.
have this experience. But the core development of the game, and even the mathematics, the scientific part, I explained a little bit about that, the psychology and everything, the mathematics of the tokens and everything, we borrowed from the Web 2 world. The real, actually, the scientific world is common. Technology, science is the same. Mathematics is the same on both Web 3 and Web 2. So the methods are the same, but yeah, the dealing with the community building part, and also trying to explain people what decentralization is, what it is not. We don't need ultimate unimplementable decentralization. We need enough decentralization. Any decentralization more than enough is taking us down. We don't need that. So we need to communicate this with the community, what we convince them. And I'm so happy to see that community believes in the team so
Hmm.
much, and it's vice versa. We believe in the community so much, we take their feedback into account. So to wrap up, like 3 quarters, nothing much changed. But 1 quarter, I would say, we needed some experience in Web 3.
Hmm. Got it. Well, one of the things we're lucky enough to have here today is some gameplay footage, some
Mm-hmm.
overview stuff that you came prepared with,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have a couple of things that we actually want to show, and I think what we have kind of queued up here is a few minutes long, so we'll
Mm-hmm.
see how much we get through.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna put it up here, and I want you to kind of just talk through it with us, narrate a little bit,
Yeah.
tell us what we're seeing. You know what I mean? I think it's a kind of a cool opportunity for the community to hear it from
Mm-hmm.
from the creators. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll put this up, and
Sure.
we'll
Yeah.
probably, not sure we'll watch all of it. We'll see. Okay, so let's see
So
here.
okay, so this is a screen. Yeah, this is where we uh put our heroes in our caravan to explore outside the city. Uh Yeah, so they're going outside the city. So it's a you're a guild master. This is the gates of the city. We're gonna venture outside. You're a guild master. You can have as many heroes as you like. It's a strategy game for long. You can have 1 year, 2 year vision, master plan, where you have like 55 like heroes from different races. But when you have 1 month, 2 month long, strategies like cast lines. So this is a cast line. Then you have to select up to 15 of your heroes. You gather resources. So this beta is not so difficult because we wanted people to learn. So you're battling with these gangs. This is an easy battle. So you have to select up to 5 of these 15. So you can have like 60 heroes. You have to select 15 of them for the cast line, and you have to select 5 of them. So we have long-term, short-term, mid-term strategies. So as these heroes auto battle, you're the commander. You interfere with the fight with spell cards and skill cards that become infinite combination. It's we did the beta with a few cards, with a little card deck. We wanted to people to learn this game because this genre is unique. You remember it's not, it's unlike any game. So we wanted
Right.
it to start simple. This is very start. So this fight was very simple, but it gets very, very sophisticated. So this is a place you can fight. This is an easy task as well. So it's kind of like chess, but it's a timed chess. So a good gamer should know all the cards in the world in the opponent and in his hand. So the cards, I'm not sure if you're into card games,
Yeah, sure.
Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone and everything, but this is real time. You have to think fast. You have to not rush. This is a good gamer. He doesn't rush. He doesn't use the first card. He knows the cards, so you can defense up, attack up, heal, or stun. You can, speed up the mana, speed many things. But you're gonna have more sophisticated spell cards like taking time back, very precious spell. Uh, so it's action, and in the meantime, you have to be very skilled in card play, real-time card play, and you have to watch your mana pool, your energy refill to be able to use your mana. And then you collect resources. This is a very immersive world.
Yeah, it looks
There are
beautiful.
very hidden places. Some stuff you need to really travel around, see some hidden spots. But this closed beta, we wanted to make it simple. We had some very hidden stuff, but not too many. So
Uh-huh.
you have, tank. This guy puts the tank, the dwarf tank, and the orc warrior in front, and so he puts the healer just behind them. So she put this. This is an assassin, and I think a elf assassin, and then a mage. So these heroes have different abilities. The tanks are strong in defense. So the healer has interesting magic. I think yeah. So the gamer again watch out for the cards. Some cards coming from random as well. He knows the deck, what the probability of the new deck. So he waits for the right time. So he doesn't use the heal, for example, early. And some of the heals are target heals. Some of them are group heals. So so this is the beginning. This was the beginning of closed beta. Rather simple, but you learn. You walk around. You gather resources. We have crafting as well. It's a very sophisticated game. So this video doesn't have everything
Sure.
we had. So you're gathering resources to craft some gear like sword. To level up to make your heroes stronger and everything. So as you approach the boss part of the map, you get more and more difficult dungeons and tasks.
Uh-huh.
So you need to. I tried it. I got beaten in dungeons and everything. So I understood that. I tried again. I got beaten again. And I realized that I had to craft some stuff. I had a lot of resources, so I went back and I crafted some resources,
Right.
made combinations, and I was able to beat some of those dungeons. I couldn't finish. I couldn't. I'm not a great gamer, but Erhan. This is Erhan playing. He finished. He's one of the early finishers. He's much
Uh-huh.
better gamer than me, and I was amazed at how people could beat some of the dungeons I couldn't beat. But I'm not a great gamer. So this
Yeah.
is a map. It's a simple map. It's open. We didn't use fog of war. Remember, we wanted this to be rather simple so that the people can understand the genre. So this is the interface. We have crafting. So we gathered runes and resources. Now we're crafting materials. This one is for the elf, I believe. Yeah. And these are the things that we have been collecting. Uh, So he's deciding this one to craft. It has a lot of knowledge. These people have read a lot of text we have published. There's a lore. There's a lore here,
Yeah.
and a lot of information. What is going with what race and what class. So you have to read and you have to know. Knowledge is very important. It's an rather easy to learn, but deep to master gameplay. Remember, since day one, we've been targeting that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's checking the hero classes and races, and he's arming them with the best crafting combination he can. So he's strategizing for the next move. Uh, so So he checks his, he sees that the attack power is good on this one, but defense is poor. So I think he's gonna put this not in front this time, but just one line behind. So this is the healing part. If any of your heroes get defeated, you heal them here, but it takes time, like 30 minutes. But we
Uh,
made it down to 10 minutes in closed beta. So you want to make sure that you don't want to lose some of your good heroes, that you lose time. Time is precious. So
yeah.
it's strategy as well. That's why you don't want to use your healings early in the battle. So, with good timing, you want to use some type of healings, which are targeted healings when your best hero is going down, about to go down. So timing is important. So it's
Mhm.
like crafting, gathering resources, building your guild strategy, upgrading your caravan, your captain, your healer, your healing house, your tavern scout, your guild house, and your master. So it's a sophisticated guild you're building here. This is like strategy involved, long term, like midterm quest lines. As I said, you venture out for like about a month plan over your income plans with your yearly plan, and then you do the dungeons and battles, which are like with 5 heroes. So it's in different levels, layers in terms of time, and also, yeah, card play and everything. So we're gonna expand in many paths in our genre,
Yeah.
and God knows where we're gonna end. We can have one hero fights as well, like classical RPG. We can have turn-based, maybe card play. I don't know. We'll see. But the people loved this action plus card play. Real time and everything
Hmm.
with the
Hmm.
immersive three D world where you walk around, you fight and everything. With the craft, people loved crafting part. Some legendary items they were able to craft, and they also had the right to own these for the full game. And the first 100 guys that were able to kill the boss, they also had premium pass that they're gonna use with some privileges, temporary privileges in the full game.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful, detailed. All of the assets look amazing.
And it's
Um,
unique, right? I mean, when you take a look at a lot of the games in Web3, you say this is like World of Warcraft on Web3, or this is like Zelda on Web3, and you can
mhm.
guess what games I'm talking about. Or Axie Infinity is like, this is like Pokemon or on Web3. You can say that this is this on Web3, but when it comes to this game, the environment, the characters, everything, the gameplay, you can't say this is this game, and that's
Mhm.
we tested it with independent experts, and they said, yeah, you're right, we can't say this is this game, and we were so much satisfied and with this answer.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for walking us through that. And by the way, I have the chat here open on the screen, and so if
Hmm.
anyone has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Maybe we'll get to them. Please,
Uh-huh.
everyone, behave themselves, or else we'll just have to turn that off. We have some more stuff to show you later, kind of around the gameplay. But that was very, very, very cool, and I'm glad we got an opportunity to uh, to show the community some real tried and true gameplay, and it looks great. And with the gameplay and the game mechanics, Heroes Chain is it's like a real time experience where a lot of other
Hmm.
blockchain games will take advantage of sort of the turn based real time strategy. And
Hmm.
so, obviously, a conscious decision on the part of the game design to make this a real time, fast paced kind of experience.
Hmm.
And this is raises the bar, right, of what you
Yeah.
guys have to put out
Hmm.
there, and compete with. And so,
Hmm.
like, I wonder, how do you guys anticipate or expect the experience that you've crafted
Hmm.
to hold up against some of these classic PC games that tend to have
Hmm.
much larger budgets, much larger resources. Obviously, you guys have achieved a lot, but how do you feel like this is going to hold up against uh, pre-existing popular titles, Web 2 or Web 3?
hmm First, we were so excited to get the feedback from the real gamers that played our beta,
Hmm.
because when you develop your game, you get so excited you can't sleep when you
Yeah.
release your first test. How will the people react? I fell in love with the feedback, the interaction. We've been talking to each other on Telegram and everything, so people loved it. And likewise, we couldn't stand up, we couldn't leave the PC and laptop. Some people, most people couldn't sleep, I could see that. So yeah, I mean, it was immersive. You can't beat you can't win some of the battles. You saw the easiest parts, it gets more difficult and complex in dungeons. So I mean, that fun part really made us relax. That told us that we're on the right track. And the gamers
Yeah.
said, we can't imagine this what this game will become. Even this one that we experienced good enough,
Yeah.
but we can't expect imagine what it's going to get. So we wanted to be unique. That was our strategy.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
so to fight against those giants, if you try to do the same thing, they have the advantage, like they have got hundreds of millions of dollars spent on a game. So being unique is our key strategy. But on the other hand, we also, thanks to you also, you were a part of that, we were able to collect something like $6 million for this project, which is good. We also funded
Yeah.
some part out of our own pockets, because we're based in mostly in Turkey, and Turkey we have Turkish lira going down, so we have this opportunity window. It'll take a year or two, I believe, before it ends,
Hmm.
where costs are so low in Turkey. We have a lot of talented developers, but the costs are very low. So taking that into account, that $6 million is a lot of money for us. Uh,
It's a lot of money for anybody.
yeah, yeah. So we got enough cash for enough time, and yeah, I believe we're gonna make it. With the revenue coming when the game is out, I think we're gonna make it.
Yeah. Well, no, I have no doubt about that. And when you step back and you look at the game, what are like, because there's, hundreds of them that come together to create this experience. And you
Mhm.
personally, what are some of the like the game mechanics and experiences inside of the game that like you personally are most excited about?
Yeah, I love the battles, especially when it got hard. In the simple parts, I learned the mechanics. But as I advanced in the map, it got so sophisticated I couldn't win several times, several dungeons. But when I was able to win finally after crafting and everything, it was such a satisfaction. It was
Yeah.
such a satisfaction to beat those enemies in those dungeons, and the world was beautiful. the,
Hmm.
the dogs are barking, you hear this sound of the nature, it's you saw the world. It was a beautiful world traveling around. It was very immersive.
Yeah.
So battle was fun. I would say the most action, it's adrenaline part, because it's so fast. You have to see the cards. I had to read the cards at the beginning, because after you memorize the cards, you can see what they're about with their logos. But before, you had to read what it does, and it's a sophisticated thing. So the action, it's battle there. You have to be fast. You have to think fast. Sometimes you have to wait for the next card, because it might be better and everything. So that was overwhelming at the beginning, but that was action and adrenaline. So the battle would be number one. But also, I loved exploring, gathering resources, crafting, and making your guild better and better part as well.
Hmm. Hmm. And we actually have another video that you were kind enough to share with us that we can
Mhm.
go through that's more gameplay focused. The last
Yeah,
video we watched, it's kind of like
it was,
a
yeah, early, simple, but
overview.
this,
Or, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Let's take a look at that. I don't know exactly how long it is. Feel free
A
to
few, it's a few minutes. Yeah, it's a few
okay.
minutes.
So, feel free to just, talk and
Come,
let it play, or just let me know when you kind of
yeah.
want to move on here. But I'm pretty excited to show people this because it's very, very, very cool.
And it's, by the way, it's Erhan. our CEO playing the game. So you guys out there, so you want to watch Erhan playing, so that's him playing here. So this
Okay,
is a
well, there you go.
legendary dungeon, a more advanced dungeon.
Okay, cool. So let's
And
load this up
it,
here.
so this is
Yeah,
the final step. I think he's going to kill the boss. So he's going. So he's traveled around, and he has finally found the boss dungeon. So normally you have to travel around to find your way around in the map. So he's replaying this for us
mhm.
for this AMA. Erhan, I believe, is one of the first ones, maybe the first to kill the boss. So yeah, he goes inside. It's a legendary difficulty.
So that
So
would
as you
be
can
the
see,
hardest.
yeah, the dungeon is gonna get more advanced. So he's putting the tanks in front. The dwarf has a lot of defense. The dwarf tank and the orc warrior in front. He puts the archer in the back for a long shot. And this time he doesn't put the assassin in front, but a little back. Assassin has a lot of damage, but less defense. So he's waiting for the right time for defense. He checks the cards. He doesn't hurry. So yeah, he knows the cards at this level.
Yeah.
So the cards are sophisticated. I can't read and tell you, but it's if you played Magic: The Gathering or Hearthstone.
Yeah.
So he
It's very
kills the
cool.
first person.
It's fast. It's
Yeah,
fast paced.
yeah,
It's engaged. It's like
yeah.
you're in it.
It's action. It's adrenaline. And the player knows the classes, the races of the enemy and his team. So he has a lot of command knowledge about the classes and races, their skills, their levels. So he doesn't rush. He waits for the right time and right card. And it's action. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't do it. I was overwhelmed in this game. But I'm not a great gamer. And this genre I had never played before. As I said, it's unique.
But these environments are so cool
Pretty
and like
unique.
so unique.
It's
And
we all uniquely designed by our 3D art team, which is great. So this I like. This is by the archer. This is a good shot by the archer.
it just looks like a lot of fun to play.
You should feel. People played like 48 hours non-sleep, and they get lost. So you became part of the team. So these are members that are like your family. So you feel it. You feel the fights. It's gonna be mobile actually, but we started with PC.
Yep.
So, and the graphic quality is amazing
Yeah.
for the mobile as well. So you're gonna have similar quality on mobile. So
Yeah, these like stairways to the next level, like it flows really nicely. The transitions are perfect. Like these little sort of reprieves before the next battle. It's very cool.
yeah, thank you. And by the way, in this tier 1, we have goblins. The world is ravaged by Dark Lord Oblivion and his armies and races. So goblins are the first tier. So this is goblin dungeons. Goblins have this cave-like thing. So this is in a huge cave complex. So we're gonna have other types of dungeons for other races, for orcs, for humans, human-like races. We're gonna have more human-like places like houses, dungeons of human civilization. But this is goblins in caves, mostly wooden stuff. So it's not easy. You go, you have to kill. It's getting more and more difficult. He's managing the health and everything. He didn't lose any heroes so far. It's impossible. I would be like 2 or 3 left here. So, but he didn't lose anything. So
So this camera angle that's kind of tracking the battle is
Che,
this
Che,
au-
yeah.
is this automatic, or do you have control over this as well?
yeah, in this first, remember we started simple. We want to make people learn this genre. So a great deal of the stuff is automatic here. But as I said, it's an ever evolving genre. We built the framework, the technology, so that we can play with it. We can
Yeah.
change
Well, I don't
with
think
the
it's
feedback
a
coming
bad
from.
thing.
Which
It
is
looks
good.
great. It
Most,
looks smooth.
yeah, it's Auto Battler is so popular among young generation, also blockchain generation, because people can't play. You don't have time. Also, for Illivium, it's they sold $72 million NFTs in June
Mm.
after Luna crash in second half of June.
Wow.
72 million, and they are Auto Battler without card interference.
Uh-huh.
So Auto Battler is very, very popular.
Hmm.
Instead of one
Well,
hero, you manage a team of heroes.
with $72 million, I hope they manage to produce a stellar game.
Yeah, I know the guys who develop some part of their arts 3D environments. They're Turkish, a very good team. So yeah, I'm bullish on Illivium as well.
Hmm.
They're gonna make something amazing.
Hmm.
And so they're one of the we're the two representatives of Auto Battler, but they focus on Auto Battler, whereas we have Auto Battler and other things as well,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
combination.
Hmm. Well, that was awesome. It looks beautiful. It looks fun. The flow of the battle looks great,
Hmm.
and I'm sure that people are going to enjoy it now and as it continues to evolve. So really, thanks a lot for making sure to bring those on. It's such a cool opportunity for people to get to see it and hear you talk about it. Just think it's really great.
Thank
Um,
you, Mark.
yeah, yeah, that's super cool stuff. And when thinking about the game and the gamers and the active users, and one of the things that any game, Web3 or otherwise, is concerned about, but it's a particular challenge with blockchain based games, is this issue of adoption. And you
Hmm.
guys have, because of your past careers, like a very large network of not
Hmm.
just colleagues and professionals, but also players that have interacted with your prior experiences. And
Hmm.
so what are some of the ways that you are trying to onboard traditional players, not just through, well, both through marketing and then also like the UX UI of the game? How are you trying to smooth that road for people that aren't familiar with or uncomfortable with crypto?
Hmm. So, first of all, again, best practices of Web2 gaming, which is a very successful industry for decades. So, our game will be free to enter and play. So, you can
Hmm.
just download the exe and you can play the game on mobile or PC. So, you can play like the other ones, the crypto guys, but
Yeah.
you're going to earn, you're going to craft, you're going to have something very valuable that people would like to buy. So, but if you want to trade them, then you would need claim them as NFTs to your wallet.
Uh-huh.
So then you have two choices. You either use our custodial wallet system,
Uh-huh.
then you have to trust us because we're going to secure your private keys.
Uh-huh.
But if you want self custody, some of them would want so, then you have to learn how to install wallet and everything, and we're
Hmm.
going to help you. We're working on tutorials, and not tutorials, preparing tutorials, but links to places where good tutorials are,
Hmm.
and we were
Hmm.
working on gamification as well. Yeah, so but you can start playing. So
Yeah.
because we know that our game is fun, and we want you to start playing with curiosity, with fun. Just play for fun, but if you like the ownership, independent ownership, censorship resistance, like the freedom that Web3 offers, if you want to experience it, then yeah, you can have that option. That's the
Hmm.
philosophy. So that
Hmm.
now we can, and so there's no barrier, the entry fee like we see in play to earn games between gamers out there. So we want to help gamers transcend to self custody at their own pace and will.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the strategy. So we don't
Hmm.
expect to have these the resistances that the other Web3 games had in the past. Instead,
Yeah.
we have the success of Web2 games, both on
Yeah.
PC and mobile, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that aspect of Web3 game development, the onboarding, the abstracting away, and the ease of use is a really important design problem. And I think
Hmm.
the folks that are thinking closely about that and get that right and move that along are not
Hmm.
only going to benefit their game greatly, but also help move the entire industry forward. So these,
Hmm.
as much as anything else, the adoption and helping old players understand the new world is just it's such an incredibly important component of all of this. And Heroes Chain is a complex game in a good way. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of elements. So
Hmm.
in addition to the combat, the layers on top of that, you see crafting, you see farming, you see
Hmm.
land ownership, and
Yeah.
all of these things lead to a really robust game experience. But on the
Hmm.
other side of that, present the challenge for you guys of creating a workable, sustainable economy that's able to
Hmm.
thrive and
Yeah.
not fall victim to the problems that kind of everyone is aware of at this point around emissions and engagement,
Hmm.
and all these types of things. So, you know, how are you guys going about that? How are you guys making sure that the economy is viable and sustains and thrives?
Hmm. So again, as I said, we're making use of best practices of Web2, which proved to help their game's succeed in the Web2 world. Remember, fun first. We have experienced over and over again, Mev and all these experienced guys in our team said, settle down, see
Hmm.
people pay. See
Hmm.
people paid. In fact, a great deal of our team members are fans of Mev that played his games like
Yeah,
IKV and everything, legendary games.
yeah,
So they know. I mean, even if you go to Steam and other mobile things, they have revenue from people. People
yeah.
buy, people pay to have some experiences in those games. So if you do it right, if you're able to build this community of gamers, I repeat, as the core, it sustains. It's we have people from all over the world, like developed countries, developing countries, underdeveloped countries. But again, you have enough people that'll pay for in-game activities,
Right.
and mostly in our Web3 game created by gamers themselves. Remember, crafting and creating, owning, and sharing and everything. Anything valuable to the other gamer will be purchased by the other gamer. And we have this chance element. So you work hard, and according to your strategy, you need this type of sword or that type of sub skill when you breed your heroes and everything. But by chance, you get the other type. Okay, you want, you know, a red type, but you get a blue type or a green type and everything, for example. So, but another gamer has the other way around. He wanted a blue type, but he got a red type. So this, facilitates, incentivizes trade among people. So if you don't have what you want, you can sell your item, then keep working to get that item, or to save time you can buy that item from another person. So this will increase also trade among players.
Hmm.
But on top of that, we have long-term, strategies as well in attention monetization. Vendors like, I don't know, McDonald's, Tesla, well, Levi's, all sorts of vendors are trying to attract consumers attention, and gamers are
Right.
consumers, so their attention is worth the money. So there's a lot of interesting evolutionary process we have in attention monetization. In the past, the ads were breaking in mobile games, breaking the gameplay experience, but now the ads are put inside immersively inside the game world, so giving this sort of subliminal messages as well. But you play the game and you see and get those advertisements, or even more, you kill the boss and you get hungry, you need food, and you open the box and you get some food, which corresponds to Burger King's some menu in real world, free for you. It's a treat for you. So everybody loves discounts and free stuff. So these advertisement ad monetization, things attracted our attention. So we're working on with experts in the field to uh, put these in the game as well. So attention monetization is another sustainable revenue that the gaming industry showed us that it works.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Very long term, I am working on a very hard technology called proof of truth consensus mechanism, where the gameplay fuels the anti-Sybil part of the security of consensus rather than mining hash power or money
Yeah.
stake. So
Yeah.
that's a long-term thing. That's transaction fees in our subnet. Hopefully, will also go to gamers. And transaction fees is a real business, a sustainable business. In the world, it's $1 trillion business. And in Avalanche, we're also trying to digitize that as well. Even in the current world, it's a billions of dollars business. So we're working on such innovative ideas to sustain the revenue for our gamers.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and the proof of consensus piece is also something that you've been thinking
Yeah,
about, writing about,
for a long
researching
time.
about
Yeah,
for a long
it's not
time.
easy. Yeah, it's not
No,
easy. It's not
no.
easy, but we're on it. We're working on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can't. That's another component of this that I've always been
Hmm.
pretty excited to see unfold. And yeah, as soon as
Hmm.
there's more to talk about there publicly, I'd love to have you back on and get
Hmm.
into that as well. And while we're talking about the economy, we might as well talk about the token a little bit,
Hmm.
the heck token, as just kind of like a sort of a refresher, basically. But what is, for anyone that doesn't know, the utility of this token, and what is its place in the game, in the economy?
Hmm. First, remember it's a fixed cap token, 100 million hack tokens. That's it. We don't burn them. We don't mint them. It's fixed cap. So the value of hack token is very easily correlated to the size of the game economy. It's easy for the investors, for the users to understand. Secondly, it's the in-game currency, I would say.
Yeah.
But on the stablecoin, the inflationary part, we use the Web2 example. We don't need complication. It turns out that we were right. People don't care that much about this fluid part because it's little in amount. It's not the investment part, it's the fluid one. So they buy gold and silver. And we have bronze as well. So one gold is 100 silver and vice versa. And one silver is 100 bronze and everything. So we have these Web2 coins to buy resources or everything to fuel and everything. But there's only one currency you can buy them with. It's hack tokens. So in essence, you need hack tokens to buy these things. The price stability, the tag stability comes with the golds inside. So it's the currency of the game, but its value will increase as the game grows, the demand grows, the game economy grows. So
Hmm.
that's in a nutshell. And we
Yeah.
have seen that sophisticated multiple currency games with lots of stuff, crashed like 100x, 200x downwards. So we anticipated that. Even I, for example, I have a lot of friends and experts in the field who told me to buy Luna, UST. These are top influencers, even on Avalanche. It was very popular. But I did not buy single UST, a single Luna, never. I'm in the
Hmm.
field. Uh, mm, because I read the algorithmic stablecoin papers, the technical things, and everything. So I was able to, and I'm working on this thing,
Right.
on the hack token thing, and I could see that it would crash one day.
Yeah.
It's mathematics. When the hype is gone, the acceleration is too. pi, you can't hold it and everything. If the math doesn't hold, if the collateral is worth $100 million, but the stable coin is like $90 billion, it's gonna crash. It just we wait for the right conditions to crash. So we wanted to have this simple, organic tokenomics on the Web3 part. And it turns out, again, on this subject matter, we were right again.
Yeah.
So that's hack token in a nutshell. But it's also you can stake it for governance, meaning you can vote for some game related decisions as well.
Okay. Yeah. One token's hard enough, and the gaming
Let's
teams
say,
really have their work cut out for them in this regard, with the added complexity of three, sometimes four
yeah.
tokens, and I'm sure there's opportunities in there, but incredibly challenging things to
Yeah,
balance
sure, sure.
and get right.
Yeah, but yeah, you can have double, triple, quadruple, but you have to really be very, very careful, not in the construct only, but dynamically in the implementation. You have
Yeah,
to watch it all the time
yeah,
carefully. You should stop too much hype. You have to be very careful on too much hype.
yeah,
So easy to get. So it's much more volatile. It can get out of the way, out of your control. So you have to be very careful. If you can
yeah,
do that, yeah, by all
yeah.
means, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we often talk about the token itself being its own project. Like there's the tech and the project and the platform, and then there's the token. And
Yeah.
these things might as
Yeah.
well be independent projects. It just requires that much thinking time, resources, and you get it wrong, and the token or the economy could not perform, and it could
Mm,
actually mean nothing about the quality of what you've built.
yeah, exactly.
So it's these are calculated risks, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm.
But anyone that wants to learn more about the economy and the token, this stuff is well documented across the
Hmm.
website, the light paper, and the
Yeah,
white paper.
white paper
So
and everything. Yeah,
anyone that wants
yeah.
to learn more, I would encourage you to just kind of go check that out, get in the community, ask
Hmm.
questions. It's all there, and then it's all very well thought through, in my opinion.
Thank you.
So after the closed beta, right? What's next? What's the roadmap look like?
Hmm.
When are we going to see the full game, or what's coming after? Give people a sense of kind of what's coming.
Okay, so we now had the closed beta, and we achieved what we wanted. Lots of data and
Hmm.
bug reports and feedback proposals still coming. So we're working on it. So we're gonna have a very maybe some worked on beta as well. We can share with our community, and sometime in Q4 we will hopefully release the full game. But remember, it's the first version of the full game, which will be greater than the beta, of course, a greater world and everything, getting more and more sophisticated and difficult. Uh, but then remember, we will be releasing expansion packs more often in comparison to our RPG games. I would say 3 to 6 months, which is
Okay.
very, very frequent. And
Yeah.
so the genre will evolve. Remember the dynamic genre, the open genre concept we introduced.
Hmm.
So I would say Q4 full release. Then in 3 to 6 months, we're going to have an expansion pack and we're going to keep rolling.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's fast. And I've been kind of watching the chat here as we've been talking, and there were a couple of questions, but we've actually managed to answer most of them. But
Uh,
Steve R here seems to think this is one of the better blockchain games he's ever seen. So I figured that was
Thanks,
worth
Steve. Thanks, Steve.
throwing up there. You guys have a really strong community, a lot of kind words in the chat about not just the game, but you and your team, and definitely says a lot about what you guys have been able to accomplish. And
I can see a
our
question here from a gamer. He says, Will we have the chance to test the much praised closed beta game once more? Yeah, we received this question so many times from the gamers who played the game. They say, well, I mean, we're lost now. Once the beta is over, we want to keep playing. We want to play again. It's like so much adrenaline and immersion over the weekend. So they were like, "Ah, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do now? Can we play it again?" So we're working on it. Hopefully, we're gonna have some version of the beta, closed beta, to some of the players of everybody. We'll see in uh,
Awesome.
in a month, I
Awesome.
believe, or so.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Murat, there you go. Straight from the horse's mouth there.
Yeah.
Um, and so we've yeah, we've been on here for about an hour and 10 minutes. So I think we'll probably try and wrap this up here. I have kind of one final question, and it's a sort of admittedly a little corny and cliche, but I also think it's interesting. So I put it on you, and considering that you guys were early and you designed, you launched, and then there was this explosion of GameFi projects succeeding and failing, and and kind of doing all these things, and again, more data, more ability to observe and learn, and that's good. But through all of that, right? If there was sort of one lesson that you've learned
Hmm.
through that you wish you knew when you started, what would
Hmm.
that be?
Wow, that's a good
It's a
question.
tough question. It's supposed to be.
Oh, it's a tough question. It's my personal, by the way. I'm old school. I've been a co-founder of several companies. Web2, sold my shares, everything, invested myself and everything. I would prefer to do a greater percentage of the investment from our own pockets, from my own pocket.
Okay.
I would say this is my personal view, because
Interesting.
it's old school. We're investors. We're not only developers. We're also investors.
Mm-hmm.
I would some part of we didn't invest our money because it's the Web3 thing. In Web3 you let the others invest. You don't invest in
Mm-hmm.
your own project.
Yeah.
But in Web2, a great deal of startups that are successful, the founders invest themselves as well, their
Mm-hmm.
own pocket. And
Mm-hmm.
so this helps the token price, fluctuation better, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my personal point of view. I'm old
Yeah.
school. You can call me a
Uh-huh.
dinosaur even. I think this is going to change as well. I think more and more founders of Web3 projects will fund some part of development from their own
Mm-hmm.
pockets.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna some of the best practices we should, I think, use from the Web2 world.
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting answer and perspective. It makes a lot of sense. We do see more of that now.
Mm,
If a team is in a position where they're able to do that, some teams simply
mm,
aren't. But if
mm,
you're able to do that and invest in yourself, essentially,
mm,
this confers a lot of advantages.
mm,
And if you have those tokens, and you're also the founder, no one is going to represent what happens with those tokens
mm,
better than the person that's slaving
mm.
day in day out to make this
Yeah,
thing a success.
yeah, yeah.
So that would make a lot of sense. And I like questions like that because we have people that listen to these things that aspire to do what you're doing. They want to go
Mm,
out and they want to build and they want to build games. And I always think it's great to try and transmit a little expertise and a little advice from people that have done it
mm.
and that are in it, because no one knows better. So thanks for that.
Thanks. Thank you.
And thank you again for your time today. Thanks again for really representing Avalaunch as a platform. There's a lot of trust
Mhm.
and collaboration that has to happen.
Mhm.
When we launch something. So we take very, 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 very little credit for what you all have done, but we've been a small part of your story,
No, no,
and
I
you
have to
guys.
tell. I have to tell Mark. I have to. Yeah, you're the host, but let me get the mic here for a minute. Really, Mark, you, Dave, and the Avalanche team, you're very important in the Avalanche ecosystem. I mean, you've supported us all the way, not only technically, but you're also, psychologically. You gave us motivation, and we had problems. We had sometimes issues, and you helped us. You mediated and everything. So that's very important. You're not just a launch pad. You're an ecosystem mediator. Ombudsman. Whatever you call it. So yeah, thanks for all your help throughout the journey. You deserve the credit, man.
Awesome, man. Well, we really appreciate that. It's important to us. Um, but yeah, we couldn't be happier about your guys' progress and what you've been able to achieve so far in such a short period of time. And we have all the hope in the world that you guys are going to continue to grow and evolve and build something great. Yeah, at the end of the day, you've done right by us, and I want to thank you for that. And it's been a pleasure working with y'all and seeing your contributions in additions to the Avalanche gaming and ecosystem at large. So really, thank you. Our community thanks you, and we will be sure to do this again soon when there's
Sure.
something new to talk about. And yeah, if you are not part of the Heroes Chain community yet, this is the first time you're hearing about the game, whatever. Please make sure to join the community, follow the channels. There's a lot going on all the time that you can contribute to and be a part of it. And that's the special part of
Yeah.
crypto is the community's ability to be one with this thing. So anyone that's not doing that yet, I'd encourage you to. It's a great team, a great community, a great project, and I think there's a lot of good things to come. So
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
yeah, yeah. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, Erson. Talk soon. Take care.
Bye bye. Bye bye.